Today we've got a reading for you about somebody who has been really nervous about things that have happened in their past and being honest or open about what really went down, what role they played, and what they may have learned from that situation. But there's an opportunity for them to be honest and tell this story and get it off their chest. But there's a chance that they're going to miss this opportunity and things could get a little bit overly dramatic if they don't take this opportunity. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. I hope you're having a good day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, and you can also find information on how to become a member and get access to more content. Thank you to the current members. Let's start off with the Tarot of the Nile. Let's see what else we've got regarding this person. I would just say sending a hug to anyone who needs that, extra little reassurance that everybody goes through difficult times. We are not just our past, right? We also have free will to create the future that we desire. What do we have? Three of Swords in the reverse. Someone who has healed, someone who has taken back control of their life, feeling more emotionally stable after taking a different path. So with the Emperor, this is someone who has more of that masculine energy as of late, which does not mean that they have to be a man, but it means that this is somebody who, like I said, they take back control of their life, found a little bit more of that emotional maturity that they needed, and created more stability in their life. So again, healed or recovered, they've made changes. But when it comes to talking about the difficult things they've been through, that might be just a little bit concerning, right? Hello, Divyanshi. Hello, Prajana. How are you doing? Ooh, I think I added an A. Prajna. So we've got the page, the Two of Pentacles in the reverse and Death in the reverse. So because they had this experience with not having control over their life, this person is a little bit nervous about talking about how that instability happened and what they needed to do in order to improve on their life or get to a better place. So this could be, nervous about talking to a family member, nervous about an interview, why is there a gap on your resume? And this could be talking to a love interest about a difficult patch in your life. Hello, Voyager. Divyanshi, I will do personal questions at the end of the general reading if we get $15 in tips, and priority to those who donate. So we've got the Empress, the Fool, and the Wheel of Fortune. So even though you've had these difficult times, even though you made some mistakes, you've been able to recover with class, my friend. With the Empress coming through, this indicates that not only have you been able to leverage that masculine energy that we all have, but also the feminine energy. So working on that emotional side, working on the compassion. But the Empress is also about building your own empire or having maybe more of a creative streak to what it is that you do. Whatever you've chosen for this path or whatever purpose has called you, you are creating a much happier existence and you've recovered quite nicely after a bit of a spill, right? Hey, James. My name's Carmen. You can call me that. Hello, C. How are you doing? Welcome back. Hello, Leonidas. It really depends on where you source, right? That's why intention is so important. So, Leonidas, I would encourage you to be careful in terms of being respectful in the chat, okay? Hey, Lee. Welcome back. Hello, Vance. So we've got the Ace of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the High Priestess in the reverse. So I have this secret, and I feel like there's someone here that I should tell, like what happened before I met them, what happened before I changed my life. So this Three of Cups seems to be, I trust this person, I feel close to this person, therefore I should be able to open up. It feels like they're nervous to do so. Like, I know I can trust this person, but actually telling them what happened, it's a little nerve-wracking, right? Hey, Bobby, please don't yell in the live chat. Are you really bringing racist stuff into my live chat? Wow. Okay, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Well, that's cool. Yeah, no, it's 9:38 here in the morning. Hello, Jamie. How are you doing? Throwaway. I know this is gonna like totally break your heart, but the reason you're seeing what you're seeing on YouTube is based on what you click on and based on what you comment. So if you're commenting on videos that you don't like, you're actually telling YouTube that you want to see more of it. So a good way to move forward without seeing it if you don't like it is to not comment on it. Hello, Indy. Hello, Taib. Are you stealing someone else's nickname for me? Hello, Rachel. I hope you're doing well. Is that a Jamie or a Jaime? We've got Chariot in the reverse, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So you've basically been able to pick up the pieces after a very difficult, crazy, chaotic period in your life. And maybe someday you could write a book about it. Maybe you could inspire others to get out of those situations. Maybe you already have. But when it comes to this one person, maybe it's a group, but I feel like for most of you it's one person. Telling them what you've been through seems a little bit daunting or unnerving because it feels like, what if they're going to judge me after all? Oh, that's cool, Marie. How are you doing? Hello, James. If you tip, generally I take questions at the end of readings like this, but I also offer personal readings, and my email address is in the description box. We've got the Two of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and the Seven of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like this is one person in particular. You feel close to them. You may look at them as a best friend, or, you know, your best friend at work. Could be somebody that you're interested in romantically. But this individual views you as very independent, very capable. So it might be quite the contrast if you tell this story for them to understand what you've been through and the obstacles you've had to overcome. Might be just a little bit uncomfortable to give them that insight into who you were before, right? Hey, Jesse, I hope you're having a good day. Hey, Just Stuff. Correct spelling is hot. There should be an apostrophe and an E there, just so you know. Hello, Prince. How are you doing? You would like to know how Sharma feels about you? Make sure I have that right. Well, maybe Suhani is the first name. I would ask that you not put full names for people, just to be respectful of privacy. But I've got that written down. Thank you. Thanks, Rachel. Thank you, Pickle and Egg. What a great name. So we have the Emperor in the reverse, Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. I don't know if it's because you want to help this person understand that life can make a crazy turn. Maybe you are talking to somebody whose sibling or love interest is going through this. Maybe this is just wanting to make sure that the person that you're dating or about to get into a more serious relationship with understands like the lore, you know, where you've been and how you've learned the lessons that you've learned. They may make a comment about how wise or calm you are, and you might respond with, well, you should see the things that I've put up with. You should see what I've been through. This is nothing. This is like a calm, regular Tuesday afternoon, and to you, you're like, ah, you know? They may ask why it is that you're able to handle the things the way that you do. Hey, Caitlin, how's it going? Three of Pentacles. Devil in the reverse, and the Six of Swords in the reverse. So the Three of Pentacles, to me, it's often going to refer to things that have to do with money or work, working with others, collaboration. But this particular Three of Pentacles has a very like wedding or church vibe to it. So it could be that we have somebody who's asking for advice or talking about this situation because things are getting more serious in a romantic relationship, and they want to make sure that when they approach that moment where they're getting married or moving in with this person, that there's nothing to cause an obstacle or a problem afterwards, right? Like, here's everything that you need to know so that you can make an appropriate decision on whether or not you want to be with me, that kind of thing, right? All right, this is the Egyptian Tarot. Hello, Spider Boy. How are you doing? Hello, Mag. Hello, Laura. Hello, Pablo. Hello, World Metrics. How to deal with unspoken and one-sided love. My very generalized advice would be to do what you need to do to work on yourself. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. In some instances, you do have to be the one to speak up, but if you feel like it's not going to, like if it could be just a distraction, then you have to ask yourself, are you hoping for something to work out that is actually not like a long-term connection? Hello, Virgo, how are you doing? We've got the Six of Wands. This talks about success, so I do feel like you've been able to overcome something, you changed or transformed after feeling like you had lost out on what you were working towards or what you had wanted. But your ability to be flexible or adapt to new situations or work on yourself and change your plan if you needed to has made you quite strong, quite capable to handle whatever is thrown your way. This is why you've come out as both the Emperor and the Empress, because you have figured out both of those sides of yourself, right? I like that, Marie. Show up for yourself before you show up for others. So your full, authentic self. So we have the Ace of Swords, the Five of Wands in the reverse, and the King of Swords. You have felt like you've got a pretty trust and connection with this individual, and whether or not you're trying to help them figure out a situation or understand a situation, or if you just want to make sure that they know what they need to know about you, you are approaching it in a very direct way. So here's what happened. I'm going to lay it all out for you. I know it's a little bit uncomfortable, but if it helps you or if it helps you to understand where I'm coming from, then it's worth that vulnerability. Thanks, Grant. How are you doing? So we have the King of Wands, the Chariot in the reverse, and the Six of Swords. So there are some people out there who have a lot of confidence or feel pretty great about themselves because they can maintain after having a little bit of a leg up or an easy start, right? You're the kind of person who can actually claim credit because you've righted the ship, you've turned it around, you fixed a broken down car, whatever it is. This was more challenging and you still figured it out. So that's why I feel like it could be that you're in a place to help somebody else navigate difficult waters, or you're in a place where you feel like it's important to share what you've been through for someone to really understand who you are. Four of Swords in the reverse. And the Emperor in the reverse with the Two of Swords. I feel like this is someone who is either trying to figure you out or somebody who needs this advice from you. And this conversation is super important. Hiding this part of yourself would either cause problems for someone else or maybe even cause an argument in a relationship for you down the line. So I do think there's a pretty strong intuition pulling you to have this conversation and not delay it, or to be super honest with this individual. Okay? Hello, DJ. How are you doing? Thank you, Nevo. I agree, Marie. Ooh. With the quickness. Slap on the wrist. Try to be respectful, and then you can come back. We've got Nine of Cups in the reverse and the Tower with the Six of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like this is somebody who either has gone through something similar to you and therefore it will only bring you closer together, or this is someone who could benefit from your story because there's this impending tower, right? I feel like I have to talk about this. I feel like I have to get this out, let you know what really happened, because there are better days ahead, you know? There's no use in feeling like everything is just worthless or you can't fix it. If you keep moving forward, take it one step at a time, you can figure it out. Hey, Kingly Eagle, how are you doing? Hello, Abraham. Hey, Carla, how are you doing? So we have justice, a decision being made to share and be vulnerable. I want you to see who I really am, or understand what I've been through, why I am the way that I am, even if it's a little bit difficult for me to say the words or be fully honest. It's important that you know who I really am. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Duz. Hello, Mika. Hello, Underhatches. King of Pentacles in the reverse. Queen of Swords. And the Page of Cups in the reverse. I think sometimes one of the realist ways that you can connect to somebody is if you have a pain that you both share or that you have been through. I hesitate to say that because there's a lot of codependency that is born of that kind of energy. You have to be kind of cautious in terms of really just like the power of those kinds of connections. But when you're able to share a difficult part of your life with somebody else who knows what that's like or who has been through something similar, the both of you end up finding strength in that, right? You're not alone. Somebody else understands. Somebody else appreciates that you had to battle, right? Yes, exactly. Be careful with trauma bonds. I think sometimes you'd be surprised when you share those things with family, what your family has been through, or whether or not there's someone else who's had a very similar experience. Interesting, you're asking about family, and we've got the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. I do feel like it's something that is, this conversation is feared as something that would cause distance, but it actually draws someone closer. So it's like, thank you for trusting me with that information kind of thing. You're welcome to do that, Battlefield. I just ask you not to be judgmental of others' beliefs. And we've got the Knight of Cups. So I know that things are uncomfortable or difficult. I know that maybe this subject matter is going to make this person look at me differently, but I think they're going to end up getting a big old hug, or I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a sense of relief. Okay, so I guess what I was worried about was just kind of all in my head. I'm still accepted or loved or respected, even though I've shared this thing that was kind of difficult for me to share. This is the Fairy Lenormand. I hope you find some calm today, Caitlin. What else do we have? We have the Stars, the Fish, and the Message. So yes, you've healed from the situation, or you've navigated into much calmer waters. There's good news or a sense of success, stability that you've had. But there's someone here who wants to know your story. There's someone here who would benefit from knowing your story. And even though it is challenging to let people see what you really got going on or what you've been through, it is helpful in either guiding another person or helping them to connect to you. All right, let's get the What's the News deck. What else do we have? Yeah. Hello, Usagi. How are you doing? Snack, obsession, physical attraction, and sex appeal. And paranoid, cautious, insecure, and guarded. So obsession or temptation, perhaps even being a little bit too promiscuous, maybe even to some degree like substance. But we've got someone who's a little bit paranoid to talk about whatever this experience was, whatever this chapter they had was. Long haul, in it to win it, long-term intentions, and invested. But whoever you're worried about judging you, this is somebody who really does want to be in your life for a long time. This is somebody who's thinking about how to be your friend in 10 years or still be, your partner in 10 years. So they're not looking for a way out. You know what I mean? Hey, Tom, how's it going? Hey, Barbara. Hello, Amber. Hello, Ducks. How you doing today? Sean, you're going to have to be a little bit more, I don't know how to say this. I send you healing. We just got to be a little bit more cautious about what we say. YouTube can kind of clamp down on those things. So we have penny pinching, financial struggle, saving up, and budgeting. Perhaps your finances are in limbo right now or changing. You might have changed jobs or industry. We've got somebody who I think is falling for you. So we've got things are heating up and chemistry and receipts. So it's like, I feel like you're eventually going to be able to find out what happened. It might as well be me that tells you what really happened, right? That kind of thing. How many like romantic comedies have been made with that premise? Oh my gosh, I gotta tell this person this first, or everything is gonna go wrong and then we don't get to like be in love at the end of the movie. It's always better when you're the one who tells your own story versus, you know, being kind of called out, right? Hello, Patsy. Hello, Panita. Hey, Illuminati. Thank you, Rachel. We have the Seven of Cups, Three of Wands, and the Ace of Wands in the reverse. With the Two of Wands in the reverse. So we have 1, 2, 3 of Wands that just came out. Yeah, there's going to be a moment where it feels like there's almost like a vacuum. There's nothing being said. It's quiet, but it makes sense for you to talk about this time in your life or this experience. And even though it might feel unnatural or uncomfortable to just like start this conversation, I do feel like the response you get from the person you're talking to encourages you to move along, right? To keep going. That you made the right call. Hey, Christopher, how are you doing? Hello, Avo. Dashing. Hello. Oh, wait, I think I did say hello to you, Under Hatches. You trying to get an extra hello? We got Queen of Wands in the reverse, Six of Wands, and the Fool. That's a lot of fire energy. You're going to be just fine. You go into this conversation thinking that somebody is going to judge you harshly, or maybe they're not going to be interested in you romantically anymore, or maybe this person's not going to respect me anymore if I tell them what I've been through. This person's going to respect you all the more. They're going to be like, I thought you came from here and you went up to here, but you were down here and you went all the way up to, like, I'm just more impressed. You know what I mean? I feel like there's no reason for you to feel silly about being nervous to talk about this, but the reason that you feel drawn to talk about it is because this person cares about you enough to appreciate that element of you, not judge you for it. Thanks, Rachel. We have the Two of Cups. Again, they care about you deeply. And with the Ace of Cups in the reverse, it may actually kind of move them to tears to hear what you've been through, to understand what caused, you know, some of the slowdown in your life or that sense of feeling like you were stuck. But you've also got the ability to share, here's what I've done since that happened. Here's how I've approached it. Here's how I've learned from that. Here's how I've grown and become my own person. They know a little bit of that story already, right? But I think it's just getting over that fear of being judged for what actually happened. Hello, Jacob. Hey, Dana. How's it going? Oops, did I flip? I thought so. The Wheel of Fortune. The Six of Pentacles in the reverse and the Tower in the reverse. So is this person going to look at you differently after you have this conversation with them? Yeah, but probably not in the way that you expect. They will understand more about how you deal with difficult times. They will understand more about your strength and your courage, as well as your ability to be self-aware and comfortable talking about difficult things. There are a lot of people out there who just talk about how great they are all the time, and the first thing I think of when I run into a person like that is, okay, so you're dealing with some insecurity, because if you have true confidence, you don't have to like put it way out there for everyone and make it like the biggest thing in the room. You can be subtly confident, right? This is someone who's going to respect you more because you've shared. What else do we want? We'll go with the Earth Bones Tarot. Hello, Sharitha. Sending you positive energy for that dream job. I hope you get it. Hello, Cipriano. That is what I tend to do on here. Hello, Linda. I'm sending you healing energy. If you all have some positive energy you can send towards Linda, that would be awesome. And I will do personal questions at the end of the general reading if we reach $15 in tips. If you are looking for a more detailed answer. Hello, High Priestess. How are you doing? I love the emojis. So we've got the Knight of Petals, which would be the Knight of Pentacles. It's in the reverse, and we have the Ten of Jars or the Ten of Cups. Yes, you hit an obstacle or a little bit of a rough patch in your life. You are all the more interesting for it. You are all the more lovable for it. This person is not going to look at you any differently in a negative sense. If anything, it's just that they have more respect for you. I'm trying to remember, I might get it wrong, but there is an art form, a Japanese art form, where you repair broken vases with gold, and I think it's kitsungi. I might be wrong about that. But it's the belief that broken things, when repaired, can be more beautiful than the unbroken thing to begin with. And I would absolutely agree with that. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Not really. Oh, you're so sweet. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for doing that, Laura. So we've got this Wheel of Fortune, and it's a rabbit's foot. Good luck and fortune comes to you because of the hard work that you've accomplished, that you've got through, in many cases on your own, right? We have the Teacher in the reverse, which tells me exactly what I just said was right. You may not have had somebody to guide you on this path. You may not have had someone that you could ask for advice because your path was so different. Which is why there could be someone here who could benefit from what you've been through. But I feel like this is also part of why it's difficult to talk about what you've been through, because for so long you got really used to dealing with things on your own or not being able to rely on other people for those things. So we have the Tower and the Five of Cups or Five of Jars in the reverse. You don't want to hide this part of yourself, even if it is the easier thing for you to do. I see you being able to just kind of like nudge yourself into having this conversation. You know it's time to tell this person what's going on, or, you know, clear the air, be sure that they understand who you are, or give advice if that's the situation. And the Three of Wicks or Three of Wands in the reverse, there's also this kind of awareness, if I don't do anything or if I don't have this conversation, it could, you know, blow up in my face later on, or it could have a negative impact, and it's you wanting to have a negative impact, right? Hello, soulmate. How are you doing? Thank you, not really. We've got Nine of Petals, which is the Nine of Pentacles, and it's in the reverse with the Queen of Swords or Queen of Crystals and the Page of Petals or Page of Pentacles. So this individual hears about a codependent relationship, or perhaps even codependency that you experienced on your own, something where you felt like you were kind of weak, like you hadn't chosen the right path for yourself. And you're focusing on that negative element when the person who you're going to talk to would be focused on the recovery, how you've come so far, even though you were in a pretty difficult situation. They're going to be proud of you or impressed. Page of Wicks or the Page of Wands, communication. This feels to me like, well, where do I even start? I feel like I have to at the first say, like, just so you know, this isn't a problem anymore. It was a problem for me a long time ago, but, you know, everything's fine now. Like, or do I just dive right in and say the worst part of it at the very beginning, and then we can kind of dissect it, you know? This is someone who wants to know, how much do I actually share with this person? Would it at some point kind of concern or scare them? We've got the five, wait, let me make sure. Yeah, 5 of Petals or 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Queen of Wicks or Queen of Wands in the reverse. I think this person's going to identify or resonate with what you're talking about. Either they're currently going through it and you're helping them, or they've been through something similar and they may be shocked to hear that you have insight into something that they felt was kind of a unique experience or that they didn't feel many people would understand. In other words, it brings you closer together. Let's go with the Love Oracle. Let's do that. That's a good call, Laura. Hey, soulmate. If you would like to contribute, if we get to $15 in tips, I will take personal questions at the end of this reading. Hello, ML. How's it going? You can call me Carmen. Sorry, not right now, Romaine. Abandoned, left out, walked away, cold. So you could have somebody who has dealt with abandonment issues or a fear of abandonment. Someone who may have had some pretty significant problems within the family. We do have some, it's like I was taught from an early age that I needed to be responsible for myself and not count on anybody else. Hey, Lee. I got you written down for the first 2 as well, so thank you for that. Second tip, I'll do both for you, okay? So I'll pull a few cards on your older daughter. And I'm sending you some forgiving energy, you know? I don't want you to feel like, I don't know, you're a bad person, you know? Hey, Matt, I'm going to put you in a little baby timeout. You're welcome to come back if you'd like. Or you could ask one of the couple people on here who have gotten personal readings where you can't scan that. So maybe just do a little investigation on things that you don't understand before you name call. Yeah. So we have the divine feminine energy here because the focus is whether or not I will still be seen, whether or not I will still be accepted or loved or cared for, or if I tell you who I really am, are you going to walk away? Are you going to look at me like I'm crazy and you didn't know that I was like so damaged? That's the fear, right? If I open up, will you judge me? Hey, ML, I had an Instagram for Wicked Wands a long time ago, but it was a little bit too much to manage, so pretty much just YouTube. We've got thinking, missing you, craving, and desiring. Boundaries, no, drawing the line, and enough. So this feels to me like there may have been an unhealthy relationship with parents or with an early romantic relationship. Not really knowing how to incorporate boundaries in a healthy way and needing to kind of like unlearn the codependent relationship tactics they may have been taught by their parents. Hello, Kim Tai. You're watching it. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Christopher. I hope you're having a good day. Sending you abundant energy. Hello, Aquarius. Yes, it's true. You have to have a balance in there, right? So we've got chemistry, attraction, spark, and passion. There is a very strong bond between you and this person, and whether you are talking about romantic relationships and what you've been through, or if you are pursuing a romantic relationship with this person, there is someone who is very receptive and loving towards you, who is not going to judge you harshly as you may fear. Hey, ML. No, thank you. Yeah, that's not why I'm here. Hello, Trey. How are you doing? All right, so we're going to get a few from the Overthinkers Oracle. Yes, that definitely helps, doesn't it? Nature is like super soothing. All right, what else do we have? Speaking of, I haven't recorded outside. I used to record shorts whenever I could outside at the park. Haven't done that in a while for a couple of reasons. I mean, it's been like super hot, but it's starting to finally cool down. So hopefully I can get back to a little of that for you all. That's awesome. Hey, Travis, you first. Because you out here judging people, you know? That's not supposed to do that. I hope I can reach you before it's too late. Hiding my feelings and emotions for you. I'm so sorry I let you down and I wasn't who you expected me to be. Remember, this doesn't have to be romantic. This could be a family situation. Someone who feels like they need to apologize to you. I feel like God is punishing me. So this is a pretty hurtful chapter of your life that you're sharing with somebody, and it may have involved a lot of broken promises that make it difficult for you to trust someone like this new person. But I think this new person does have good intentions and does want to be good to you. So I like that. This is the Everyday Tarot. That's funny. All right. So we've got the Emperor again. See, this is that I know things are difficult, but I can figure out how to get through it. I can push through this and be just fine, right? Thank you, High Priestess. I appreciate that. We've got the Six of Cups. This is someone who understands like the inner child trauma or the abandonment issues or the need for love. This person cares about you deeply. I think they're just going to give you a hug or tell you they understand or even share their own experience with something similar. So if you're worried about whether or not they're going to run away from you, they're not. They're just going to know about more of what you've been through and appreciate you and respect you all the more, right? Yep. Hey, Rodrigo. I do personal questions at the end of the general if we get $15 in tips. We've got King of Wands in the reverse. We see a little bit of that, don't we? And the Ten of Swords. So yes, it's a not so great chapter of your life, but it's made you who you are. It's part of why you're so strong. It's part of why you have a good sense of morality or integrity. And that's why this person, understanding the difficult things you've been through, those betrayals or those darker chapters of your life, it may make you feel like they're going to see you differently, but not in a bad way. It's that you didn't give up. It's that you kept moving, right? Hey, Quick Box, there's plenty of YouTube videos that will tell you about that. 78 cards in a tarot deck, and they represent stages of your life. And oracle cards are much more, they can be anything, but they're more direct, right? Some of them will just say the actual words on the cards, right? Like this. The more you know. So we've got the World. It feels like she's doing the same maneuver I just did. Yeah, this is an important part of your healing. Being able to talk through those things and appreciate that side of yourself, the way that it's improved your understanding of who you are and what you're capable of, how strong you are, right? So yes, it's time for you to share this, and you will feel an intuitive pull to be honest about this with that person, whoever they may be. And you'll find that it feels much more natural than holding it back from this person that you know loves and cares about you and wants to see you happy. They'll appreciate the clarity, and I think in many cases, they'll share a story of their own, right? Oh, reading Rainbow, man. I'm so lucky to grow up with that. So Ace of Swords is clarifying justice, which I love, and Ace of Wands in the reverse. I will say, though, you are right. If you do not share this information, if you hide yourself from this person, they might start to wonder if you are not ready for a relationship or not interested in a friendship. So take the risk, be a little bit vulnerable, and I feel like you'll be rewarded for it. All right, we're already at almost 50 minutes, so I'm going to do Lee's questions and Prince Kumar's question. If others tip and we get more, that's cool, but I just want to make sure we do that. ML asks why Wicked Wands, because I do actually have, well, 2 wands actually, and that's what I do with the wind chimes. I really like the letter W, okay, and I like alliteration. But also there's wands in tarot, right? And in order to get through life, you deal with some wicked people. All right, we're gonna start with Lee's questions. This is the Wild Reflections. What else do we have? That's very Lee. I don't know if I would ever name something without it being alliterative. My second channel is Curious Carmen. So like, it's a pattern, you know, it's what I do. All right. We've got 8 of Swords in the reverse and the Moon in the reverse, Lee. There's somebody here who has no longer got the blindfold on, assuming the worst. It's interesting though, because there's still a blindfold. So I feel like you removed a blindfold and someone put another one on. So this could be influences, trying to make sure that you look like the bad guy. Is this about court? Yes. So this does feel like the story that is accepted or seen as the truth is altering. So if, you know, he's been lying, it's going to be made quite clear. I do feel like the number 3 is important. So there could be 3 lies, 3 changes, 3 pieces of evidence, 3 opinions. We've got Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, Knight of Swords in the reverse. There is a major financial hit that your ex has taken. And I don't think he wants to be honest about it. What about the situation with her older daughter? Chariot in the reverse, hitting a roadblock. Empress in the reverse. Magician. There's a temper tantrum initially. I don't know what to do with this information, or I don't know how to handle this, but give it some time. I do feel that time heals all wounds, but I know that some people disagree with that. This is saying to continue to basically approach the situation the way you have. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be loving. And she's going to come around at some point. But there's a lot of stubbornness. Hello, Stacey. Sending you abundant energy. Three's Louise. I like that. So then we also had a question from Prince Kumar. How does Sahani feel about me? Seven of Swords. Six of Wands in the reverse. This is someone who feels like you are dishonest, feels like you kind of puff up the chest a little bit or present yourself to be more successful or more of a know-it-all. I think you would win points with this person by showing some vulnerability. Interesting that it comes up in this reading when it's talking about sharing a difficult experience in your life with somebody that you have a close tie to. But this is somebody who wants to see the real you. And if you continue to wear a mask or try to make yourself look a little bit bigger or badder or whatever than you really are, they're not going to be interested because they'll see you as somebody who's presenting something, right? Instead of somebody who's being the real you. If you are vulnerable and authentic and this person sees it, then I think there's magic that could happen. But as of right now, they look at you as somebody who is kind of putting on an act, right? Hey, Dana, thank you. A message from your mom, please. Got you. What do we have for Dana from her mother, please? This is asking you to conserve your energy or find an opportunity to take a day off. You need a little bit of self-care, or even if it's just like take a half day and go get a pedicure. This is saying take a little time for yourself. It's going to help you in terms of the energy that you need down the road. Very much so something that would enable you to be at your best when an opportunity comes your way, or when you feel like you really need to be on your like best game, right? Hello, Samson. How are you doing? All right, y'all. I'm going to go eat some food real quick, and I will be back later. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes. And if you have the opportunity to hype one of my videos, I would greatly appreciate it.